PJNet Live New Year's Eve edition. And yes, it is live. This is not recorded. Coming to you from the Eagle's Nest PJNet studio with Dell Didway. Standing by in our green room. Our chat room is waiting. We are streaming on all 4 platforms, so we will switch to Studio 6 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, Happy New Year from PJNet Live. It is a real pleasure to not only be with you, but have you with us. It's great, and many of you have been asking the question, so is this live or recorded? So Dell Didway is waiting in our green room, and I am going to ask him a question that if it were recorded, he would only know this. So go ahead and ask a question in the chat room, and we will forward that question to Dell, and you will know that this is in fact live. Please welcome to our screen once again in Studio 6, the world's most interesting disappointed Buckeye fan, Dell Didway. Dell, it's 2 weeks ago we were talking about bad calls and bad breaks. Have you changed your mind?
Oh, there was some bad calls. Yeah, there was 2 bad calls. I'm not going to blame the loss on that, but they were definitely momentum changers in the game, and there were calls that made a difference. There's some calls, like that call against the Saints that cost them the trip to the Super Bowl. Those were 2 calls that were monumental, that were momentum shifters and made a difference. When a call takes points off a board, that makes a difference.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah.
2
bad calls.
But you know what? The sun came up this morning, and the Buckeyes are still a very great team. And it's an honor to get as far as they got. And I know it's hard to lose. It's really hard to lose close ones like that. I tell you the worst, and we'll get to your blog in a minute, Dale. The worst thing,
That's right.
My heart goes out to the seniors on that team, on the Buckeye team, because you see, if that would have happened earlier in the year, there would be more games to kind of redeem, the loss. But this is going to literally haunt them, the rest of their lives to some extent.
Well, to some extent, I think when they get that first paycheck from the NFL, like $98,000 to show up, I think they're going to go poof, it'll be gone.
Well, you may have a point.
Yeah.
Okay, what the question from the chat room, what type of cake did he post today?
Oh my gosh, that'd be more specific. I posted a chocolate cake today.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So,
chocolate cake today.
So,
that'd
folks,
be Tammy.
Yeah. No, that was actually Sunbelt Girl, but Tammy is with us tonight.
Oh, okay, Barbara.
Yeah. And so it's good. Dale, your blog obviously focused on New Year's resolution, and you start out with first of all, you're not a big fan of New Year's resolutions.
No, I just never made them. So no, I'm not. I mean, it's a big
Why
deal
not?
to me. I just think it's silly. I mean, it's a novelty item. It's a novelty thing people want to talk about, and I point out that everybody fails in them. And I think 85% of the people fail on doing them. It's just a way to invite disappointment. So I just never, even back when I was in high school or college, I just never did them. I just never thought about it.
Well, I think it in some ways it is good this time of year. We kind of do some introspection. Most people have days off, and they have time to assess the year past and try to project in the year forward. What could I do better? So that's good. But I think what's I don't want to go as far as saying toxic, but it smacks of it just a little bit. Is they think that the passing of at the stroke of midnight tonight, that somehow they are going to change. Most of the things that hold us back are habits that have been developed over a long period of time. And they're going to change slowly. The other problem I see with New Year's resolutions or goal setting in general, whether it's New Year's or any other time. 2 things. One, people tend to set goals that are really not reasonable, not achievable. They want to win the lottery, so to speak. So when they don't reach it, you wind up being a failure. Or you feel like you have failed, and then it's too easy to quit. The other thing is they set goals like, I'm going to increase my sales, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. what I would prefer, what I'd recommend, is set goals that you can achieve. For example, don't say I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Say I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours a day, 3 times a week, and work out. In other words, set an activity goal. You can do the activity and let the result be a parenthetical byproduct of doing the activity. Number two, I'm going to quit eating pizza. No. Here's what I do. When I want to do something like that I probably shouldn't do, what I try to do is say, you know what, I'm going to do that Sunday. Not today. I'm going to do that Sunday. Well, first of all, by the time Sunday rolls around, I've forgotten about it in all likelihood. But if I haven't, go ahead, enjoy a piece of pizza in moderation on Sunday. That way you're not denying yourself. You can reward yourself for having done well during the week. Anyway, so that's my Coach Prasic advice on goal setting. Set goals that are reasonable. Set goals that are based on your activity. And don't deny yourself pleasures that are not inherently, bad. Or that, go ahead and have you a butter, butternut or Milky Way or whatever it is you like, but just defer it until later. And then if later comes by, you go ahead, enjoy.
See, my problem is not having a Milky Way. I don't want to stop, so I just don't do them. Either I have to have it out of sight because I do have weaknesses, and like if there's a bag of Doritos in the house, I'm going to eat the whole bag. So I just don't get, So
you know what kills me, Dale, is when they have them buy one get one free. Yeah. Junk food.
So I just don't do them. I mean, like I said, in part of the blog, I kind of broke up with little Debbie, and she came back in my life for a couple times this last couple of weeks because they're in the house. People bring them by for parties, and like, well, by golly, I have to eat them if they're there. So I don't get them. And Angie won't get them, but if they're brought in the house, ice cream, so. I have weaknesses, and I know my weaknesses. I mean, not just the food. I have other weaknesses too, but I got to focus on just ignoring them and just keeping place things that bring me down, whether it's little Tibby or whether it's talking to somebody I shouldn't talk to. I just don't do it anymore. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. Well,
and I do have that willpower, and I do have that stubbornness in me to say this is bad for me. So it's done. It's not a part of my life anymore.
Well, it's inherently bad, and I think everybody, or it's not inherently bad, but let's take something like smoking. I used to smoke, and I didn't quit because I knew smoking was bad for me. I didn't quit because people nagged me about it. I just simply made a decision one day to quit, and I did, and that was that. But but I would have to do alternate things. When you want a cigarette, go get a bag of sunflower seeds and chew on
Doritos.
Yeah. You actually explored some of the historical, I don't know if it would be the origins, but I found that rather interesting.
Yeah, I like going back, and it kind of spruces up a blog a little bit. Some interesting facts people may not know about. I didn't know about it, so I found it interesting. Some of the things that like the Babylonians did. I think it's interesting tidbits about everyday life now. So you try to learn something about how it started, why it started, but now it's just a novelty item, and it does make for good conversation, makes for good blogs. So you just discuss, the resolutions. I've seen probably 8,000 questions on Twitter today. What's your resolution? And that's just good. It's good for good banter. But in the end, I'm just going to try to do better each day. Every day I get up, try to do better. And that's all right, because I'm going to mess up. I do mess up every day. I think everybody does. I make mistakes. I make people mad or upset every day. That I don't tend to, but I do. And you just got to try to get better. And every day. I mean, it was I hear these cliches when I go to all these press conferences with all these ball players. They always say the same thing. Like Zach Taylor, coach of the Bengals 2 weeks ago. This whole season's been unacceptable. You were 1-14. Yeah, that's unacceptable. So what are you going to do about it? So they came back and won the game, but they ended the season 2-14, and they said it's still unacceptable. It's easy to say these things. It's easy to say we have to do better. I mean, these coaches always say we just have to do better. where you get paid $1 gazillion to do better. So do better. Don't just say you're going to do better.
Well, I find it odd that the head coach would say this is unacceptable, because who's been in charge?
He's in charge of it. Yeah, he said it. He's a good guy. I think he's in over his head, and he was a good assistant coach and a good coach out at L.A. But yeah, he has his mouth around a fire hydrant all season long. So I didn't feel sorry for him, but sitting in his press conferences and you're talking to him, he says the same thing every week. We just have to get better. We have to get better. And I think he was out of answers, out of words. But he's a good guy. It's just he's in a high profile position. That's winning any game in the National Football League is hard. And of course, they only won 2 this year. But he's going to get better, we hope. But I think we always divert off topics. But I think I was with Andy Sunday. It'll probably be the last time we see him in a Bengals uniform. Andy's a good guy, and he's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. And been able to interview him a few times. I mean, we're not best buddies, but Andy knows who I am. Mm-hmm. And his parents wrote an endorsement for my Bengals book. So we have some connections there with him and his family. So Andy knows who I am. And, was able to spend a little bit of time with him about the books again, and took a picture with him for the books. And he's a good guy. So I'll try to get back to some of the blogging about players over the next few weeks.
Now, this year, looking backwards, you published how many books?
I had 4 releases this year, which was really a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's great. I'm not complaining at all. I ideally would like to spread them out a little bit more. 4 in a year, it's hard to focus on one or two that, you want to make sure they're launched properly. I had 4. We tried to split them out throughout the year to give them justice, and I think we did a good job on that. But I mean, I had a blessed year. I'm not complaining at all about it. 4 launches. I mean, some authors are saying, "I'd like to have 1." Well, that's great. We were able to have 4, and we're getting ready. We have 3 in this upcoming year, and 3 in 2021 that we have planned right now. And then we're going to start with some other books, and got to keep the ball rolling. I mean, I can't be content. I mean, I'm writing now for 2021. So, and then when I'm done with those, I'm going to start again. I'll start another manuscript. So it's always continually going.
Now you burst onto the scene with, a lot of luster. The year before, you'd published, prior to 2019, how many had you published?
One.
Okay, so
I had 1.
Now, using that as a overall, how do you feel about how well the books are doing, in the market?
3 of them are doing phenomenally well. I think the Buckeyes is going to slow down now because they're out of the playoffs. So that did really well leading up to the playoffs. I mean, those are going to be more seasonal, like during football season and at Christmas time. And they did really, really well. The Buckeye book did really well during when Ohio State, won the Big Ten championship and when they went into the playoffs. So we saw a big spike in that. Then over Thanksgiving and Black Friday and up through mid-December, Dugout and First Down really did beyond my expectations. I had high expectations. They exceeded those expectations because we did a lot of promotions. I mean, you probably saw on Twitter and Facebook a lot every day when you're promoting having a different picture with one of the ball players with the book. And
did I tell you that I actually spoke to Kyle on the telephone a few weeks back? And it's first time that we'd actually talked, to each other. We'd run into each other and, did the pleasantries, but never, but he was calling, just kind of brainstorming, strategizing and all that. And I made a comment to him, and I hope I don't mean it as an offense. I truly don't, but I'll try it out on you. How do we get past a picture holding the book up with, I mean, I know that I see them all the time, but in trying to strategize a market, why do you want to buy this book? I'm trying to think, how can we get past, here I am holding the book up, or here I am with so and so holding the book up. I mean, those are. I just don't see that as a real a real driving force that makes anybody want to rush out and buy them. It certainly increases brand awareness. I mean, it obviously has some merit, but yeah, I'm just trying to think, how can we go past buy my book, or here's my book, or something? How do we get engagement?
When I only get a few seconds with these players, I'm fortunate to get a picture with them with the book, and I can go back and look at data. Like when I posted a picture of me and Tim Tebow with Dugout Devotions, that week I saw a sizable increase. The week I posted a picture with me with Tim Tebow with the book, and it all correlates back. So it does work. It does drive people. So, Tim Tebow likes the book. I'm going to get that book. It's just how they've been.
Well, it's association.
And that's why I take a lot of pictures with these players with the book, because that's.
Well, I think you'd be fool not to. I'm not critical of it. I'm just saying, there? I'm looking for something beyond it, and I don't have it right now. But we were kind of brainstorming. The other thing that we talked about is book trailers. Now, very few people do them, but I've seen some that are pretty good. And I thought, well, that's good, but it's expensive. And I said, here's the hitch. I use these to clean my keyboard. I'm not cleaning my ears, okay? Anyway, I'll put it down. I said, I think that would be good, but here's the hitch. How do we, once they get the video, let's say they pay a fee to get a video done, a trailer for a book, how do we get that video viewed? How do we make that video worth watching? Okay, I know we're trying to make the video make you want to, buy the book or find out more, make you curious, get some emotional response. But how do we go to the point where people want to watch the trailer and actually share it with them? How do we make it entertaining? How do we add value to it? I said, if we can answer that, okay,
that's all right.
we can make some trailers.
So,
yeah.
I've done some video, but it's I have to be aware of the situation I'm in. If I can ask a player to do a 5-second video, some of them do it, some of them won't. Some of them won't have time. So that does help. Video is the best thing out there. So if you can get somebody to do a video, I got Clint Hurdle to do one. I've had William White do them. So they do work. It's just when these guys have 8,000 people after them, I know. I'm talking to them for 3 minutes. So some of them have done them. Jim Tressel did the one for me for the Buckeye book. And we noticed when I played that, there's a big increase.
How do book signings work? I know you had that one with the Pirates.
I had last year I had 5, and they really did well. I had one up in the Poconos during the Christian Product Expo meeting up in the Poconos in January for Dugout Devotions. It went really well. I think we signed probably 110 books. And then we did the one in Pittsburgh with Clint Hurdle, which was a tremendous turnout. People, were out the door waiting to see him, and had a great time. Clint's great with fans, great with me. I mean, Clint's a friend of mine, and he posted a comment on my blog today. Actually,
really,
he typically comments on them. Yeah, so if you go on my blog and go to the comments, you'll see a comment from Clint Hurdle there.
Yeah,
and he typically does. And then we had one out of Nashville, the Christian Product Expo. Again, we had the really big one in New York City for Dugout Devotions, which just blew me away. I mean, I didn't think, because that's a general market show, book show, and here I am with a devotional in a general market, and I had a line. I think I signed 132 books in an hour. People were in line to get those books, so it was really blew me away. Of course, we all help each other out. Kyle, Michelle,
well, I was going to say,
they're all recruiting, and then we do the same for them. So they're out there grabbing people. Hey, get this book.
Hawking the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Twitter calls that reciprocal inflation.
Yeah. So we're helping each other. Because I thought I'd have maybe 10 people show up. I had like 130. So I mean, I had a line. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really overwhelming.
It is.
And then we've had a couple locally here, but I had 4 really good ones, again, all over the country. So, and for Dugout Devotions, we're reached out to a pretty well-known name to write it forward. Hopefully they'll say yes.
Okay. Gosh, it's 19 minutes. We're about done. Any moments this year that were disappointing, that you just feel like you failed?
Oh, I fail every day, Coach. I really do. I fail tremendously every day. So if I can get through a day without messing up real bad, I count that as victory. Um, so I can't look back. I can look back and it's been blessed of some phenomenal success. I mean, we have a really busy few months coming up now. I mean, January is going to be busy. February we have the Night to Shine event with the Tim Tebow Foundation.
Tim Tebow. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he'll be there or not, but he didn't come last year. But we'll be the volunteering there. Then in March we'll be in North Carolina at the conference. April, something big going on in April. May we have the Indy 500. May we have New York City. So it just come tomorrow. I'm going to rest up a little bit. I think tonight we're going to have a nice romantic evening. I'm going to put on my new Joseph A. Bank pajamas, my slippers, pop some popcorn, turn down the lights, and we're going to watch some Three Stooges. I think that's the great way to bring in the new year.
Well, I think popcorn is your weakness, right? Is that?
That's one of them. I have many weaknesses, yes. Yeah. Food, yes.
Yeah, and you can't pop a little popcorn. You got to pop a lot of it. I mean, there's no small portion.
We'll get 2 bags of the Orville Redenbacher and dump them into a big bowl.
There you go.
So then eat those and watch the Three Stooges.
I love the Three Stooges, Dale. I really do. I think that's good stuff. I know.
Nice romantic evening.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Dale, have fun. Hey, I appreciate you joining us to kind of ring in the new year. Thank you for good job on the blog today, and it was an interesting diversion, from the sports stuff that's come to be synonymous with Dale Didway. But we appreciate you taking time out tonight, and we didn't have to record it, and appreciate you doing that. Now go put those jammies on and
Hey, I appreciate everybody jumping on here and listening. I know you had other things to do, and appreciate you doing this. And I think some big things coming up for PJ Net TV next year.
We do.
I know we're going to be involved heavily in that, and we're excited for it. And I wish everybody a great, happy, safe New Year's Eve and a very happy New Year.
Well, thank you, Dale. Appreciate it, bro. See you next time around. Folks, that was Dale Didway. Let me tell you, it's been a real blessing today. Little did I know, my phone rings, and Doug Carter, who is frequently among us, who is actually on our program monthly, was in the area. He was less than 15 minutes away. So Doug Carter actually came to the Eagle's Nest, and we enjoyed a couple of hours just fellowshipping. Well, we did a little fellowshipping, but more importantly, we did a lot of strategizing. We were thinking. And the brand new Keurig coffee maker had never been used. And normally I have my stainless steel cup. Today I have the paper cup that I used as the second cup that coffee maker ever made. Doug Carter got the first one. I also spoke to Ben Cooper today, who is in our chat room, or was. Yeah, there he is. He will be appearing a week from tonight, I believe. The 1st Tuesday, the 7th is his first appearance. He'll be here, and he will be here on a monthly basis on, I believe, the first Monday or Tuesday. I forget. Anyway, we'll keep you up to date. All right, he'll tell you. He knows, and so we continue to just forge ahead. Folks, the promotional videos are doing very, very well, the highlights videos, and I appreciate you all, the way that you work as a team and support, the efforts that go out from here and the message that we send out to a world that I think is hungry for some encouragement, don't you? I hope I'm right. I hope we're right. And also, we're beginning to trickle out the videos that were taken at the Ohio Christian Writer Conference. Folks, I'm very impressed with the response that we're getting from those. The goal is to release one per day. Now, I don't think we'll release one today, but nonetheless, they're doing well. Everything looks good, folks. I'm just very happy to report, and I just want to thank you all. Because right now it's kind of a core group, and that core group has grown a little bit. Next year, when we get pjnet.tv up, which could be any week now, we're going to begin getting aggressive on inviting people to come join us, because most of you who come here frequently. So I take it that there's something here that's desirable, that there's an appetite for. Well, it's kind of the best kept secret on the internet right now. Let's not let that be the norm. Let's let more people enjoy, and we'll have more stories and more gospel, more good news from people like we have had here, and it's just growing, and I just feel great about it. I want to just congratulate you all for your participation and the way you've teamed up with PJNet, and I want to wish you all of you, whether you're in our chat room or just watching this live or perhaps watching it recorded, I want to wish you a very happy and prosperous new year. And at the same time, I want to remind you that that is mostly dependent upon you.